محمد رحمة المهداة وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليك سيدي أبا القاسم يا رسول الله صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. طبعا yesterday we talked about the dua or the ruqya of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam from the envy and from all the kind of the disease. First of all, hadith al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, of course, yesterday we talked about Ayat al-Kursi. This is the greatest verse in the Quran. The person should recite Ayat al-Kursi. Even the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says after the prayer, when the person say or recite Ayat al-Kursi, there is nothing preventing him from entering the Jannah except death. So very important for the person after the prayer, before he sleeps, to recite Ayat al-Kursi. Ayat al-Kursi, we know, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum, la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm. This is the first one of them. Please account with me, okay? The second one of them, hadith al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, whoever recites قل هو الله أحد, قل أعوذ برب الفلق, قل أعوذ برب الناس in the morning and in the evening, it will suffice him from any problem. There is nothing can harm him. So the guidance of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the morning and by the evening to recite قل هو الله أحد, قل أعوذ برب الفلق, قل أعوذ برب الناس. How many times? 3 times. Okay? Hadith al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as we mentioned, about Sahl ibn Hunayf. Sahl ibn Hunayf radiallahu anhu, he was, mashallah, very handsome. And subhanallah, while he was just making ghusl or taking shower or was making wudu, Amir ibn Rabi'a, the companion of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he admired the skin of Sahl ibn Hunayf. The skin, because it wasn't the habit of the people who lives in the deserts, actually, because of the humidity and because of the dust. So, the skin of the people wasn't that very soft like Sahl ibn Hunayf. So, the Amir ibn Rabi'a, radiallahu anhu, he said, wow, your skin is better than, the one who is hiding, his skin from the dust and everything. All of a sudden, Sahl ibn Hunayf, he lost his consciousness. So the people came to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and told him, Ya Rasulullah, Sahl ibn Hunayf, all of a sudden, he fell off and he couldn't even pray. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, عَلَى مَا تَقْتُلُونَ أَنفُسَكُمْ, why you kill yourself? And then Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, قَالَ مَنْ تَتَّهِمُونَ, who do you think just, is the reason? They said, exactly that's what happened. Amir ibn Rabi'a, he looked at him and he admired his skin. That is why he fell off, all of a sudden. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, bring Amir ibn Rabi'a, and he asked him to wash his hands, his face, his knees, and his feet. And then he put all of that like in a pot, and he put, the water and poured it over the head and the body of Sahl ibn Hunayf. فقام سهل بن حنيف وكان به لباس. After he made that, subhanallah, Sahl ibn Hunayf, he stood up. There is nothing happened to him. But of course, as I mentioned yesterday, it can be very hard to ask somebody come and make, wash your hands and your face and take this water. As I mentioned yesterday, some scholars say, even if the person just sitting in some place, you cannot take like like a piece of wood, where a piece of cloth, wall, yes, piece of wall, and you can just wipe it out like this, and then, of course, after he leaves, if you think the person, he is the one, you have the envy against you, take this piece and wherever he sits, and take it and put it under the water and put it in the pot, and then you can the water just pour it, subhanallah, over the person. It might help. Because if you say somebody, I think you have the envy against me, I think you cut all the relation between you and them. Yes? Yes? Yes. Or because our ignorance of the sunnah of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, of the sunnah of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So some scholars say it can help. This one can help. في سنة منسية, neglected sunnah عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. في neglected sunnah, حديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم make this ruqya. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم used to put his finger in the dust and then put it in his saliva, saliva, and then he says بإذن ربنا يشفى مريضنا بتربة أرضنا بريق بعضنا يشفى مريضنا بإذن ربنا. So the person, if he has a disease or problem in his hands, for example, okay? So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to put his finger in his
mouth, saliva,
okay, like that, and they put it in the dust, and then he put his hand. This is an authentic hadith في الصحيحين, an authentic hadith Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they put his hands in the place in which hurt the person or feel the disease, and says from the dust of our land, from the dust of our land, and from the saliva of some of us, by the permission of our Lord, our patient will be cured or will be healed. Again?
لطفا.
Okay. So this is a neglected sunnah. Some scholars say this is for only people who lives in Medina, because the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says from the dust of our land, Medina. Other scholars says no, this is everywhere. This is everywhere. So the person put his finger in his saliva, and then he put it in the dust, and then put it in the place in which harm him, and says from the saliva of some of us and the dust of our land, by the permission of our Lord, our our patients will be cured. So these are, subhanallah, 5 or 6 of the dua in which everybody should do, subhanallah, in the morning and whenever he feels suffering or the envy or anything like this. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it beneficial for all of us and forgive all our sins. Allahumma.